Alright, so this latest chapter of One Piece was just full of insane surprises that stand to heavily impact the future of the series as we know it. With the previous chapter, we opened up to the furtherance of Yamato versus Kaido, wherein it was revealed that Yamato's devil fruit is in fact the Inu Inu no Mi model Okuchi no Makami, an especially rare wolf mythical devil fruit, a legendary beast heralded as the guardian spirit of Wano. And as such, Kaido would command Yamato to fulfill this role for his sake. However, this wasn't the sort of protection Yamato had in mind, as all Kaido really wanted was for Wano to continue being a massive weapons factory. And so Yamato would refuse and declare that Wano and its samurai would instead finally be granted their freedom and truly become a part of the wider world. As just then, a chilling breath attack would emerge from his mouth, then clashing with that of Kaido's, as communication was clearly pointless between these two. Elsewhere in the banquet hall, we would have Robin visited by the vestiges of her dearly departed mother, Professor Clover, and Saul, what was ultimately a very cruel guise intended to fool her. However, Robin is all too aware of reality to be fooled by such things. But at the same time, considering she doesn't even have so much as a picture of the three and hasn't seen them in over 20 years, this was still enough to bring tears to her eyes. In actuality, these three were just a couple of Kaido's lackeys. But along with Robin was Brook, who could certainly relate to the feelings Robin possessed, and so he was also unaffected by Black Maria's illusionary mist. Now Maria would give chase to these two for a while, but eventually Robin would face her by her lonesome. Elsewhere, Luffy and the Heart Pirates would make it to land, where they would meet up with Momonosuke and Shinobu. Meanwhile, they would be observed by Caribou, who was betting on Luffy's victory for the sake of getting off the island himself, as we would then have Luffy telling Momonosuke that he'd need him to turn into a dragon and fly him back up there. To begin this latest chapter, we would continue with Robin versus Black Maria. Maria would immediately make note of Robin's anger here. However, such a use of her power was clearly taxing, as Robin was breathing pretty hard. However, she would make it clear that she intended to finish this fight quickly, as she would swiftly go onto the attack, swiveling her arms back and forth towards Maria, then grabbing hold of her various legs. Robin would then go for her face here, but Maria was unfazed and would retaliate with a swing of her weapon, which would cut into Robin's arm. And as Maria continued her assault here, she would realize that Robin's real body was injured simultaneously, much to her delight, as suddenly she had an even larger target to work with. But even beyond that, those very spider legs Robin had been gripping onto were also poison tipped. And just like that, the battle suddenly shifted in the favor of Black Maria, as she now had Robin bound by webbing. With this, she would spread Robin's arms, rendering her defenseless. And with that, Maria would then put on some brass knuckles and admit that she is a martial artist at heart, as she would now go to the large version of Robin and just start beating into her viciously. And she was certainly enjoying herself here, as Robin was experiencing horrible pain. So much so that she'd be forced to retract her power, which made Maria assume that Robin intended to run away. However, Robin's hands would yet again close in on Maria, all of which then being blocked by her webbing. And it seems like all of Maria's moves begin with her name, which is interesting. What's even more interesting is that Maria's webs are also flammable, as she would have her spider-faced abdomen spread fire to the webbing, which would quickly claim the entirety of the room. At this point, Maria was completely dominating this fight, and with how much she enjoys mocking her opponents, she would remind Robin of how she had expected to settle this conflict quickly. And yet again, she would just insult Sanji. So yeah, Maria is certainly a trash talker, and she just does not stop. She would then ask Robin if she was going to try and bloom any more limbs, as she would love to see how well they can last, while Robin would admit to letting her guard down. Maria would then ask why Robin didn't ask for a little bit of help from Brook, but to Brook, Maria was an idiot that did not realize the predicament that she was in right now. But nevertheless, all the while, Maria would just keep on beating into Robin, calling her by her notorious moniker of Devil Child. She would repeat her prior statement that Robin is nothing more than dead weight to her crew, and that the only thing of worth she possesses is her mind, so she may as well not have any limbs. And you know what? This beating would literally knock the sense into Robin, as she would think back to her time with the Revolutionary Army. At the time, Koala was attempting to teach her a very special punch. However, Robin would question if slapping wasn't enough, but Koala would insist that if an opponent is going for the kill, she should at the very least strike with her palm. We would then have the interjection of Sabo, who would offer to teach Robin his signature Dragon Claw Fist instead, which would prompt Hack to speak up as well, now saying that they shouldn't pressure Robin as she was plenty capable regardless. But the two are worried and wanted to help her stay safe even when she leaves them. And to this, Robin had no complaints and was willing to give it a shot, much to their delight. Now this is something that she had actually made use of since his tutelage, but she has yet to do so in combat as it was considered to be a trump card of sorts for her. And so with that, Robin would make use of a fishman karate technique taught to her by Koala. But rather than striking Black Maria, she targeted the roof above them, thus causing it to cave in on them and douse the flames. But when Black Maria took her eyes off of the roof, what she saw was a devil, a massive darkened woman with horns and a sizable set of wings. Robin's face was now sinister with elongated fangs to boot. And I mean, she was willing to fully embrace her role as a devil if it meant helping out those who count on her. And Maria was absolutely shook, attempting to flee here, but Robin would grab her all the same and bring up Maria's previous point about not needing limbs. But Maria would express that she was not referring to herself, as it was Robin who was truly helpless. But boy, oh boy, would Robin prove her wrong, as she would then take this massive arachnid woman and break her apart internally. And this form is just oh so crazy. Like, the shot itself is ridiculous, but man, finally, Robin has armament hockey, and she just makes it look so damn good. Like, I've been waiting years for this moment. I have been saying since I was in high school how badass Robin would be with armament hockey, and here we are. Guys, I am so very happy, and as always, Robin proves herself to be oh so brutal as she just breaks Maria apart like crab legs in the south. I mean, it is so bad, it is so disruptive that Maria's little minions could hear the crunching and cracking of their master's horribly contorted body as the devil herself, Robin, had won. And yo, Brooke is too cold, man. They lined themselves up and he straight up bodied them all in a flash. But from there, it seems like this devil form of Robin's is like Monster Point is to Chopper or Gear Third was to Luffy once, as she seems to have shrunken down a bit here, claiming to have overdone it a bit. But as we can see, CP0 may very well be aware of these recent developments, so that is a lot more intrigue to be added onto this pile of incredible developments. I need Robin's bounty raised yesterday. But making our way back to Luffy and the others, Caribou had apparently revealed himself and provided to Luffy a whole month's worth of food that he had stored within himself. What's probably the coolest thing about his fruit, to be honest, that endless carrying capacity. And boy was Luffy chowing down here, ripping this food apart. But Bart would ask for a status update from Luffy here, and honestly, Luffy is the worst person to ask for a recap, especially when he is eating. But to close things out, we would have Momonosuke and Shinobu a little ways away from the rest of the group, as Shinobu would claim that she could do what Momonosuke was asking of her, but to do so would be insane. It was simply too dangerous up there, and so she would refuse. But if he did not act, he would say, all of Wano would be destroyed. Shinobu would further express that if she does what he is asking of her, he would never be able to return to normal, but would still possess the heart and mind of a child. But Momonosuke did not care. He was willing to live with that if it meant that he could transform into a bigger dragon, as he was now begging Shinobu to use her devil fruit ability to turn him into an adult, and that was the chapter. Now, I was under the impression that Shinobu's devil fruit is only able to impact inanimate objects, but I guess she's able to actually do this because she said that she could actually do it, which is interesting. I'm really curious how this is actually going to go, because I thought that was kind of like Bonnie's fruit ability, but maybe I'm mistaken, I don't know. Regardless of the logistics, considering this can actually be done, Momonosuke becoming an adult is such a major play. It certainly would make him a more picture-perfect leader, but oh man, what that dragon form of his will look like when he is bigger has me so excited. Again, the reveal of his dragon form to Kaido is something I've been looking forward to for ages, and this prospect only makes it that much cooler. The sheer thought of Luffy riding into his final battle against Kaido on a dragon sounds so cool. I mean, that's so hard. You really gotta love One Piece. This series is way too goated, man. I'm having so much fun covering this week to week, so hopefully you guys appreciate it as well. We are swiftly approaching that incredible 300k subscriber milestone thanks to your support, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Plot Armor with notifications on. Being able to expand to One Piece and see it do well means so much to us as fans, so really, thank you so much for being here for the hype. If you'd like to get your hands on some manga, One Piece, or otherwise, please consider using our RightStuf affiliate link in the description below, as it does actually help out the channel. Because when it comes to bringing you some of the best One Piece content on the platform, Plot Armor has you covered. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.